everyone, and welcome to Damsels and Dice.
Where it's a little dicey.
But this is how we roll. 14. That's not bad. That's not bad.
12. We're going to annihilate all of you.
But what'd you roll?
You. And the NPCs I bequeath. I don't think we have any relative announcements other than, you won't see any gap in release time, but big life changes, big smiles all around. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and roll into this episode. Yeah, see what I did? Channeling my inner bard.
Oh,
shame on both of you.
I love it.
The cousins Talavin Narestar and Nora Narestar have been traveling all across Croix Calasiel, one of the northernmost continents. They started off in the Hatu Strip, and through various adventures managed to save a great number of sprites who were being abducted. They made their way north, seeming to be drawn back to potentially Talavin's hometown, where it seems that there are whispers of some strange happenings and goings-on. Other various events have led them to encounter various assassins, various NPCs, various problems, and now they're faced with one of their greatest challenges. Nessie sent them a note, calling upon that distant favor when she initially gave them the tattoos adorning their hands and sides and backs. This particular favor, according to Nessie, was to go and investigate these three northernmost cities right across the border of the center of Croix Calasiel to see what's going on, what's happening, why has she lost contact with some of her people, and just to simply report back and do what they can. But upon arrival, they realized that things were in more dire situations than they initially anticipated. The first city, Kinecardine, was being deforested, torn asunder, its people being quite literally torn apart by the machines and other devices used to separate and cut apart the logs, to be sent, supposedly, to Arkala, the next eastern city on the list. They relatively quickly, and unbeknownst to the DMs, went ahead and started the rebellion, managing to save as many people as they could. Just before we closed for last session, you all stumbled in and managed to stop, after many attempts, stop the mayor's speaking with a particular individual whom you are unfamiliar with. And that is where we left off.
Yeah, last time she said, "Oh, just so you know, you might be crying by the end of this episode." And we were like, skirt that option. Because she was going to kill everyone. And we were going to find all their dead bodies, and instead we started the rebellion.
Yes, we did.
Well, technically Nora did. So.
Yeah, it happens. Alrighty, so we are in the room.
Right now you are in the center capital, the primary law building. And Jacob's there, Wyatt's there, the sprites, both of you and Zoom are all there in this particular environment as everybody else is going through, and you can hear every once in a while the sounds of various forms of chaos. Sometimes you're shouting and other people are, getting the guards who have been oppressing the city on their knees, subduing any adversities.
Okay, so the mayor and Frederick are both knocked out in the room.
Frederick is not looking so hot. He's currently passed out, draped over Warrior.
No, I drug him in.
Oh, you did? You did drag him in? Oh, I do remember that, yeah. So you did manage to drag him in, but he is not looking the greatest. He probably has some kind of hernia based on the way his side is kind of splayed, and his breathing is slightly labored. He's alive, and he's not in danger of dying, but he's seen better days.
He should have been thinking of them better days a long time ago.
And by the sounds of it, according to one particular individual who you've been speaking with, Cooper, one of the former guards, current guards, however you wish to classify him. It sounds that all of these guards are actually from the north, Violand. And it may not be that they're there on their own fruition or volition.
Well, I also knocked out that one chick guard that was escorting us out of this.
Yeah. There's so much to do, I don't even know where to start.
Yikes. Are they
First
both
things
unconscious right now?
Huh?
I mean, technically they're both unconscious right now, right?
I mean, Frederick is unconscious.
What about the mayor? Does he look unconscious if
I'm
I go
gonna
over and
tie
poke
up
him?
the mayor because we didn't tie him.
You all did, after 4 attempts, you did manage to beat him unconscious.
Hey, that wasn't me. I wasn't there.
That was me, yeah. Just go unconscious already! Yes, it's fine. So he's unconscious, but I'm going to tie him up. So that way, whenever he wakes up, he cannot.
Maybe gag him, because I don't want him fucking spittling everywhere.
I'll gag him, sure.
Okay, between the two of you, go ahead.
Spittle.
For kicks and giggles, this is kind of a survival check, where instead of making a snare, instead of creating this trap, you're essentially trying to trap him in these binds. So let's say a survival check.
Okay.
Oh, my survival's +7. That's an 18.
I got a 7, so...
Oh.
There's a moment, Talavin, where you look over at your cousin, and you see she's just wrapping around and around and around. And you watch as she ties it off, and then some of the top ones just start becoming loose.
It's been a long day.
You come over with a fragment of rope that you have left in your bag, which, speaking of which, you all might want to invest in some more
rope.
rope.
Yep.
But you go over and properly weave in and out so that it serves more as these arm bracer cuffs behind his back.
Thank you.
Although you all have a little bit of a hard time as the breadth of his shoulders keep his arms relatively taut when being brought behind him in the first place.
Okay.
Oh.
And he's also gagged.
And I think
And he's
feet.
and you all dragged him, I think, into the
furthest room from the scrying bowl thing.
On the first floor.
On the first
from that that silvery bowl.
I imagined it like a conference room. That's just how I saw it.
Yeah, it's kind of like a council conference room. It's by no means extravagant and lavish. This is actually where you all had dinner a few nights prior.
Okay. I got my mental image. I'm going to go step outside for a second and kind of survey just to look outside.
I'm gonna stay
and
inside.
See if the people are still like needing help with the rebellion, if the guards have apprehended them again. Now that this is kind of put on hold.
Okay, make a perception check.
Okay. 24.
24. By the sounds of it, the shouting seems to be dying down in the furthest parts of the city. You look around, nothing is burning, nothing is on fire, thank goodness, because based on recent weather patterns, probably for this area, it's probably a little bit dry, and because these houses are set up very much like, almost like log cabins, they would probably go up in smoke in not too much time.
Okay.
So for the most part, you are seeing some of the individuals who you helped before. They do seem to be making their way to the main town hall city area. But for the most part, everything seems to be either coming to a head in some areas or dying down as people have been subdued.
Okay. Good to know. I'm going to go back inside and Talavin, just try to wake him up. I knocked
Which
him
one
out.
should we wake up first?
Probably the mayor. He's the one I have the most questions for.
Okay. Don't have anything to wake him up with. Really. Just gonna kick him.
I'm gonna kind of poke him with my foot because I'm trying to be intimidating a little bit. Yeah.
You just splash some water in his face.
I'm gonna kick him, not like, but just tap him with my foot.
Make a strength check.
His side?
And he's not on the ground, or did you all leave him on the ground, or did you set him up in a chair?
Nah,
like,
I'm just gonna like have him leaning against a wall.
Yeah. Like leaning against the corner.
Like butt on the floor, leaning up against a wall.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's easier to intimidate people if they're below you.
I got an 18 for strength.
Oh!
You wanted to be a little bit gentler, but you just so happened to hit that tender part right in between his ribs. And as your boot collides,
But he's gagged.
Yeah, but he's gagged, so it's like...
So he's awake.
no, he's not awake.
He's not awake. And she's
I'm gonna take out some ground cinnamon, and I'm gonna put it under the mayor's nose, so when he breathes in, it'll... See if that wakes him up. Just like a little bit, I put like a little bit on like right here, like a little line, and then I just like stick it under his nose like I'm snorting cocaine or something.
Because that's how you speak.
I mean, I don't know. I mean,
you put it underneath, and you realize about a second too late he's a mouth breather.
But he's
fuck
gagged.
it. Yeah, so I'm gonna pull the gag down and just like I'm just gonna sprinkle it into his mouth a little bit. What was on my finger?
He starts coughing. Yeah, that'll do it.
Bro, cinnamon's the worst.
What's going on?
I put the gag back in his mouth once he started waking up.
Hello.
Hello.
Most unintimidating greeting.
Can I roll intimidation for that to be an intimidating hello?
That was the most unintimidating hello I have ever heard in my life.
Disadvantage.
What?
Because disadvantage at your intimidation.
Oh my
that,
god. I literally have it.
the way you said
That's a
it
natural 20.
is... No.
Okay, so intimidation. That's a 12.
Oh my god. Can I?
Hello?
Well, shit. I was like, I could stand behind her and have my hair start flowing and my eyes are glowing, but too late now.
He starts giving you this look and starts struggling immediately.
I'm
against
gonna
the
immediately step forward, eyes flashing. I'm gonna cast thaumaturgy and I'm gonna make my eyes glow and my hair start going around crazy. And I'm gonna step forward and just look down on him and be like, "Stop struggling."
Roll intimidation check. As Nora comes up, can I just... Hello?
Natural 20, 27.
Wow. My first roll was.
Yeah. No. As he first takes in this greeting and starts struggling against this, there's this dark shadow that looms over Nora as she's still crouched by him smiling and just seeing the silhouette of these burning eyes, the hair being blown from either side from your torn out braid. Just looking, just cocking your head ever so slightly, and you can feel ever so faintly coming off of your shoulders as this relatively enormous man seems to shrink against the wall.
I get the chills.
We have some questions. And we're going to answer them.
You are going to answer them. That's better.
This is like good cop, bad cop.
Exactly. It is.
I'm gonna take your gag off. Okay.
And you're not gonna scream. You're gonna be nice and quiet.
Gonna Undo the gag. Just debates putting it back on. And then, okay,
A little bit of saliva is like just leaking out of his mouth when you yanked it.
The pool in your communication office. Who were you talking to?
No one. No one in particular. Yeah.
I'm going to say in deep speech. Who were you talking to?
And I'm going to look over her shoulder and be like, you want to answer that correctly? Quit stuttering like an idiot.
Sorry. You're doing a pretty good job, sorry. I'm not an actor. Is it obvious? I don't know. I don't actually know their names, but I just yeah. How do you know how to speak?
That's not important.
That's none of your business. I want to know how you know it, and I want to know what kind of creature or person you were talking to, and I want you to tell me exactly what he said. Don't interrupt me again. What did he say? Exactly.
Which part?
I said that in deep speech. Sorry, I meant to say that before. She dropped into deep speech. I dropped into deep speech as well. Because that is actually a language.
Oh, you're both in deep speech now. Yeah. Okay. No, nothing. Look. I've never met them. All I know is that I was appointed to this particular position because of my compliance.
Obviously not your qualifications.
What did they tell you to do?
I'm just here to help manage the books, to send supplies out as needed.
I'm gonna roll an insight check.
Yeah, is he?
I think he's being truthful, but does he really not know who he's talking to?
I'm good.
That's a 19.
14.
He's a, how do I say this, bumbling buffoon.
Yeah,
but
I thought maybe he was putting on. Maybe.
It seems
gave him too much.
You look into his eyes, and after the stellar intimidation and the pointed questions that you all are asking, he doesn't seem to be trying to mask anything, but it seems like he has an idea. So when he says, like, I don't know who they are, he might not know them on a first name basis, but he probably has a pretty good idea of what's going on.
Okay. So
or who it is.
I get that vibe off of him.
Yeah, you both end up kind of getting this vibe of he might not know exactly who he's speaking with, but because of the dialect, because of where this is going, and probably what his task was, whatever it might be, it seems like he has some kind of idea of who he's in correspondence with, but he doesn't know for sure.
Nora just kind of, because I imagine we were both standing at some point.
Well, like, you're, like, kind of kneeling next to him, and I'm, like, hovering over you, just, like, this glowing shadow.
So Nora just kind of, you're going to make this difficult, aren't you?
I like it. When they make it.
I'm not trying to make anything difficult here. I'm being honest. I don't know who I'm in correspondence with. I have my suspicions, I have my ideas, but I've never met them.
Well, how about we start with tell us your suspicions before we make it difficult?
I think I'm speaking with someone back in the Underdark. So someone below the mountains. He doesn't actually scratch his face. I'm just scratching my own face. Sorry. He's out of the vines. He's just scratching his face. No. No, I don't know. I mean, I've never seen them. I've only heard them.
So your bowl, you only speak to them, you don't see them.
Yes, that's correct.
And do you speak to the same person every time?
As far as I'm aware.
Who is it? What's their name?
They don't really give me a name. I mean,
And you said they're just calling from the Underdark.
yes.
You don't know a specific city.
No. If one of my colleagues, probably in Ireland, would probably know that kind of information. I'm just usually in correspondence with the people in our column.
Who are your colleagues? Names. He's like, he picks up his address book.
Got these small spectacles.
Out of your brains again? Sorry.
In our column, it's a woman, but Barbara Peden.
Okay, you said Barbara what?
Barbara Peden.
Hetten.
Peden. Peden.
And who else?
In Violin there's a Delamak. Bradier.
Spell that. I'm sorry.
DELEMMAK BIRDIIR.
Bradier Delamak.
Delamak.
Delamak. And which one's his first name? Bradier?
Delamak.
Oh, Delamak. Oh, first name. Ooh. And these people would know who these creatures are?
I mean, most likely Delamak would know.
And are the people in Arcala and Violin being treated the same way you've been treating these people?
I don't know. We work in different kinds of ways. I mean, everything here was the responsibility of the guards. I was just here to manage the books and to send in reports.
Where's the books?
In the desk.
And it's unlocked, right? Where's
Doesn't
the
matter.
key?
It's a pocket.
It might
How
be.
many pockets does he have on his coat?
None.
God damn it.
Nora's going to point or gesture to Frederick, be like, was he in charge of the guards?
Yes.
And is Frederick still unconscious? He's still kind of... Okay. Okay, we're fine.
He doesn't take a drink, but I'm taking a drink.
I'll take a drink. Drink.
No, I'm trying to keep my arms behind my back. I'm trying to make it clear as I can. But
Is Wyatt and Jacob in the room with Zoom?
they're standing near the entrance. Zoom seems to be keeping outlook on the rest of the town.
How does
Wyatt
look?
Wyatt, he's usually very quiet. He's being a little bit more quiet. You can see this is actually the first time that you've really seen him. But yeah, he has these dark circles under his eyes. He seems to be leaning heavily against the wall, arms once again just underneath of his or his hands underneath of his arms, folded, crossed. His hood is up. He looks like he's barely standing, and Jacob seems to be keeping tabs on him. But at this, they're nearby to see if you guys need any help. But you can see that Jacob is looking along the various banisters. He's trying to make sure that there's nothing else in the building that you all are in without leaving you all on your own.
I'm going to look at Nora, and I'm going to link with her. I'm going to be like,
Okay.
I want to go get those books before anything happens.
All right.
You good here?
I'll let him.
Okay. Just shout if you need anything.
All right.
Didn't use any spells today, so... Sorry, what? I'm going to give him, like, one more just, like, glare.
I think you did use the spell, didn't you?
Huh? I think I used my Hellish Rebuke.
But that's used to cure wounds.
Not
On warrior.
No, I used my healing hands on warrior. I don't have any healing hands, and I don't have any blood hunter, but I have my cleric spells still.
Okay.
I have
used all
not
my
used
spells.
inflict wounds yet. I mean, cure wounds.
I only have.
I'll like just give him like a glowering look. I'll be back. And I'm gonna head into his office and find that desk. And I'll break it open.
Okay.
It's technically 10 minutes. That's a 10-minute ritual, isn't it?
Yeah.
As I pass by Wyatt slowly, as to not startle him, I'm just gonna kind of be like, "Are you good? Do you want to sit down?"
I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay.
You can sit down if you want before you fall down.
Shakes his head no.
Well, if you need something, let me know. I'm gonna go break this desk open.
All right. You go into the main office area. You see his desk is sitting there, and you do see a coat rack in the corner. With your passive perception, there is a coat hanging there.
I will search the coat for a key.
All right. Investigation check.
Natural 17.
You rummage through the pockets, and easily enough, there's a small pocket on the inside of the coat that you reach in, and sure enough, there's a key.
I will.
This nice little gold-looking little key.
I'll take the key and I will go to the desk and open it.
All right, you get the.
At first glance, what's on top of the desk?
The bowl is still on top of the desk, and the liquid once again is just that translucent, clear color. It's no longer that dark color. Yeah, there are no papers or books, but you do see a quill. You see a seal. There
I take the
is
seal
a little.
and put it in my bag of holding.
That might come in handy.
Yes.
Yeah, and there's just some like wax, just like little wax cubes that you could cut up and for sealing and so forth. And then you see that there are 4 drawers. So there are like 2 smaller drawers about 4 or 5 inches deep, and then there are 2 much larger drawers down in the bottom.
I start trying to see which ones are open and which ones aren't. I just start rooting through the whole thing.
Okay, which one do you start with? Top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right.
I'll start with the 2 small ones, and then I'll move on to the 2 bigger ones.
Okay, you open the left-hand drawer and just see a stack of unused parchment. This seems to be the finer stuff. The edges have been sheared. It doesn't look like the edges are coarse. They've been sheared and cut off. They're very fine for probably formal correspondence. You also find it's not a wax seal, but it's a press. This kind of device.
I know what that is. The government uses those.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, they don't have it in ye olde medieval.
Yeah.
This is a little something interesting. You open up the top right. You can see that there are a couple of other quills. You do see that there are some stacks of paper and some letters with the seals that have been broken. Some of them haven't been broken. They're all in that top right-hand side.
Okay, so far I have a seal and wax. I got some fine papers, an invisi-seal. What else? Some quills. Because I'm taking all of this.
Okay.
So what else?
And then and then like a stack of letters that look like to be some kind of correspondence. Some of them have the seals broken, some of them are not broken, but there's just a stack of letters that are in that right-hand drawer with it.
I'm just gonna put all of this into my bag of holding for now. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna clear the desk out for now, so that I'm not sitting in here with this bowl thing.
Make an investigation check.
Oh no! That's only a +6. 16.
16. Okay. You look around, you move things around, you don't seem to see anything else.
In that drawer.
In that drawer, in the top right drawer.
I will move.
Which drawer do you go to next?
The other small one.
That was both small ones.
Oh, that
you
was
did the
both-
top left and you did the top right.
I will move on to the big drawer on the left.
Big drawer on the left, it's locked.
I will use the key.
You stick the key in, you turn it, and the desk begins to come free, but I also need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
I was gonna check for traps, and then I just didn't feel like it. It's a natural 16. So
Plus,
+6 is 22.
22, okay. You take 6 points of fire damage as all of a sudden, when the drawer opens, you hear this click. As just as it swings open, you can see in the very bottom this an erupting like hell flame.
I'm about to kill
Come
this
out. You
man.
manage to throw yourself
I hope not.
back out of the way as you're looking, and you can see that the parchment is starting to burn and singe.
I dump my water canteen on that shit. I'd rather it be smudged.
You begin tossing the water. How much water do you actually have in your canteens? I don't know. If it's,
Put it in your bag of holding. It's a vacuum sealed area. Sorry, I'm not.
Yeah, fuck it. I'll just grab it. Put it in my bag of holding. Because
Okay,
that
you-
works actually.
you immediately grab it, failing another dex save as you burn. You just feel your hands already beginning to blister. You take 3 points of fire damage from one set of documents and toss it into your bag. And you take 2 more points of fire damage as you grab the rest and just shove it into your bag. Your hands are now trembling as you're seeing these blisters just form on both of your hands.
I just curse under my breath. I'm like, you stupid, I'm gonna kill it! And then I just shake it off. And I'm like, calm down, it's fine. So I got everything out of that drawer, nothing else in that drawer.
There's nothing. I mean, there look like some of the documents have already been singed and burned to the point where they're just fragments of ash that are currently just crisping up and dissolving
I go
under
to
the flame.
The other large drawer. Is that one also locked?
Yes.
I'm gonna check it for traps.
Check for traps.
What do I add to that? Investigation?
Yeah.
We'll go with 18.
18. This one is also trapped.
God damn it! Can I disarm a trap? I mean, I'm sort of disarming. What do I have to roll for that?
I don't know if you're proficient in it.
I don't,
but
but
the
I
DC
know
lower.
rogue. I help rogues. I'm helpy.
I knew a rogue. It was way long ago.
I know one currently.
You could ask the dude who owns
He
the
literally,
key.
no, because if I go in there, bad things will happen with my singed hands.
Oh yeah, your hands are also singed and still shaking. Your nerves are just screaming in pain. You can try and disarm the trap at disadvantage.
Oh, fuck me.
Just hear.
At which point you actually, Jacob and Wyatt both come running. Nora, you also pick this up with your passive perception. You can just see the guy.
What happened?
Do you want it?
I mean, if she put the key in the wrong drawer first, I mean, I might have
The wrong drawer first.
Yes.
Oh, if I had frightened left, I don't.
He doesn't need to be frightened because he's gonna get real scared when I come back in that room here in a second, my fam. You ain't gonna worry.
Yeah, Jacob, Wyatt, and even Zoom, all three, take off running and open the door. Tell him what happened.
Motherfucker, it was fucking trapped. God damn it, stupid fire. Wyatt, can you help me? There's a trap on this one, and I don't really want stuff to burn in there.
As your hands are like all puffed up and like, just we don't want to
Just-
fall.
Wyatt, or Jacob immediately comes over and just like, what on? Did you touch it?
No, it was burning, and
Did you touch the fire?
The papers were burning.
So you touched it. Get over here, Wyatt. Sorry. Could you help her out here? As he guides you away, Zoom comes over and just takes a look at your hand and starts immediately rummaging through his own pouch to see if he has any herbs and stuff as Wyatt goes over and begins messing with...
Fire! Ah! Sorry.
Yeah.
I know I told you to do that.
It's fine. I would have done it. It's fine. So.
You can heal yourself.
I'm not gonna waste my cure wounds on this. It'll be fine. I'll just wrap it up and I'll come in there looking real scary. In a second.
as Jacob and Zoom are both like helping bandage your hands and helping you with this process, you just hear a another blast of fire erupts from inside of this next desk.
I immediately run over and start grabbing the shit in there and putting it in my bag of holding. Immediately.
You did it again.
I do it again. I don't care.
Wyatt manages to get out of the way. It only takes 5, or no, it'd be 6 reduced to 3. Actually, he doesn't take any damage because of Rogue's evasion. So he manages to dodge out of the way.
As I jump into the way.
Sorry, he immediately starts taking off part of his hood and begins smacking the flames on these other these much thicker leather-bound books.
Oh yeah, I'm like shoving them in my bag of holding, trying to get the flames out. Like
you take another 5 points of fire damage as you again reach in bare bones and seize the books. He's like, "Don't do that!" As he wraps it around, and just begins patting it out. Nora, you hear all of this transpire.
Be like, Talavin, you opened the wrong drawer first.
oh, he's gonna find out what the wrong drawer is here in a minute. Does he look more scared now?
He looks terrified.
That's uncommon, by the way.
And actually,
I swear it's uncommon.
Nora, because you're right there. See, his trousers get a little darker.
He pee-peed himself.
Nora overlooks it. This is awful. Okay, so while they're doing that, I'm gonna keep questioning him. For funsies. That's how it's reaching into drawers. Okay.
Yeah, nah, that it stings. And now you've got blisters on blisters, and you can barely bend your fingers.
It's fine. I'll be fine.
Alright, so I guess as soon as Talavin walks away, Nora would have kept questioning him.
In the meantime.
Yes. And she would switch to common at this bit, just be like, meh. It's not like she's intimidated by deep. Like, okay, so you were just talking to me whenever we came into the room.
Yes.
You were requesting reinforcements.
I thought that we had a situation on our hands and thought that maybe it would be beneficial if some more people were to come.
said you didn't need it.
Yes, I do. Spell.
Yes. What did they say when you told them the situation was handled? Did they believe you?
I don't know. They were just quiet afterwards.
They were just quiet afterwards. You said something. Wait, insight check. Is he lying to me?
Insight check. I believe him.
Yes, tainted 20.
Tainted 20. He doesn't seem to be being dishonest at this particular point in time.
Okay.
It seems like he's telling the truth after he said no, like everything's fine. We don't need reinforcements. We've got everything covered here. It seems like it was probably quiet afterwards.
But he said yes afterwards.
Yeah.
He continued talking to them.
They said something to him.
Okay. You're like, but you just said yes right after that, after you told them that everything was fine and you didn't need backup.
They asked if I was sure, and I said yes.
Are they coming?
I don't know.
And then we have a conversation about she opened the wrong drawer first. Again.
That's this conversation happened. She opened the wrong drawer first.
Yes. What would happen to you if you cried wolf too soon?
Maybe, I probably have to go and pay them a little bit of a visit for evaluation.
Have you had to pay them a visit before?
No, we haven't had severe instances before. We did have a few, but they were stamped out before. We had everything under control.
And then he wets his pants.
You hear footsteps.
Oh no. I have one more question. It was, never had an instance. Have you been in power since the beginning of the system? Was someone in power before you?
Of course, I was the first. There were we had an entire council, and they were all sent to on various errands, and then until I was the only one left.
So you've been on the council even before this whole system. You're
No. After they started leaving, I was appointed.
Okay.
Two have remained in the council, and then the rest of them left.
I see. You've been the most compliant. Okay. Just Talavin come in the room at this point.
I walk in, hands bandaged on my sides, hair flowing, eyes aglow, and I'm just like.
You hear the faintest.
I suggest you don't leave any minor details out. Otherwise, very terrible things could happen. That's a yes or a no? Yes or no? Good. Continue.
And I inform Talavin.
So you know of this place that you might go if you were to fail what you are doing here.
I've I would most likely have to go back to my island where I board a ship and sail across the lake to wherever it is.
You said across the lake. What lake? I said, what lake?
The one furthest north.
And you've never been there before?
No.
Has anybody
That
been
much
there
further.
and come back?
I mean, I've heard that others are promoted, and if they go, they end up going to my island. But no one's ever come back here.
I wonder why.
I don't.
Maybe you'll find out soon.
Please, I'll cooperate.
Are you from Arcala?
We're in Kinecardine.
Yeah.
I'm actually from Ireland.
You're from Violin.
Yes, I spent a little bit of time in a trade business, running different routes and so forth. But, it was after the first council members were called away that they appointed me.
They. Who told you?
Who I've been speaking with, of course.
Wait, what? Sorry, what did he say?
He's very hard to understand.
No, I love it. But I just couldn't make that one out. Sorry.
No, the people who he's currently speaking with, he said those are the ones. Those are the ones who
Yeah.
Okay. So
who helped appoint him.
Okay.
There's no... So you just speak to these beings through a bowl and you just follow directions.
Of course. I have my own family to think about.
In Violand? Just it threw the wait. You didn't break the link, but
Yeah, but I walked out of the room.
Does it break it or
Yeah, if I don't have... Technically.
just go out of signal and then you get signal back?
And then I get my signal back. I'll re-link with you, though.
Oh, okay.
Wi-Fi deck uncovered.
Exactly. Like so he's just like all the other guards.
Yeah, he's just...
is doing whatever
He's
he
told.
can. Yeah. Okay.
Which means we can't send any of these people away from this town.
No. We can't. At this point, Nora's gonna try to wake up Frederick.
You all left him in the waiting room.
No, he's in the same room. He's right next to him. We drug them both into the same room.
Oh, I thought last time we talked you all had drugged one into one room and one into the other.
No, he's just in the corner.
Okay. Yeah, so he's there in the corner.
Oh, but Nora's gonna stand up. She was kind of like kneeling close to him the whole time, and then she stands up. It's like, is there anything important that you think we should know?
I mean, there's these people. I don't really know who they are, but I mean, they're strong, they're powerful, and it would be unwise to try. You should get out when you can. You've set us loose, and that should be the end of it.
You're funny, man.
I try not to be.
Don't speak again.
Nora's gonna walk over to Frederick and kind of nudge him again. I don't want to like straight on kick this man's head. Okay, you know what?
I have a preserve life left.
I mean,
Easy enough. manage to give him that extra points. You swear you see that partial extension on his side. You actually hear this almost suctioning sound as it looks semi-normal now.
He
He doesn't wake.
though?
Oh no, he's still unconscious.
Do you want me to cinnamon him again?
Do.
I will cinnamon him again.
Cinnamon him.
Cinnamon.
Cinnamon him. Cinnamon him.
Cinnamon him. Tis time to cinnamon him. You pour just a little bit. Like as you look, you can see the base of his tongue is kind of lulled back, and just place it underneath of his tongue as he.
I already have eyes aglow, hair aflow, just like fucking ready to kill this man. Already.
Did you all bind him?
I did.
Originally, she did before she put him.
Okay.
Before I threw him over my horse and then trekked him here
Okay.
and tossed him in the corner.
Okay, so yeah, he's bound. Yeah. You. Oh no.
Oh, you're not happy to see me? You're going so well this week. Frederick, you are my favorite. Oh, don't give me that stink eye. It's so unbecoming.
Alright, Frederick. Here's the deal. We've overthrown the town. We got your mayor. The guards are mostly apprehended. We need it. And he said that you have some.
I know what you're talking about.
I think you do.
Well, intimidation check just for kicks and giggles. Both of you.
Okay. Oh, why? 10.
That's a natural 18.
Nora's
Yeah.
a nice cop again. Like, you'll tell us, won't you?
Don't tell us, and then
23.
I assume we took
you will clean this place until it looks better. That's exactly the look you have in your eyes.
23.
Yeah, no, he starts understanding the situation that he's currently in. And just quietly, still giving you the stink eye, but just quietly.
And I'm just grinning at him like, eyes alight, hair glowing. I'm just like, yeah, go ahead, do something.
What can you tell us about how you, or the people that you receive your orders from?
Just get letters and correspondence, that's all.
Where are these
They just
letters?
said there's maintain order, make sure that the supply is good. Everything else is left to our own devices.
Where are the letters?
In the drawer.
Good, I got those.
Hands of Robin.
Well,
Yeah, you do see that.
a little bit, like 10 points, robbing.
Yeah.
How about I lay this out for you really simply? You're gonna give us some good information, or I'm probably gonna kill you.
You're probably gonna kill me anyway, so
I
what
mean,
does
I'm
it
not.
matter?
I don't want to. I don't like you, but I don't want to kill you. But I will if you don't help us.
You're gonna kill me anyway, so what does it matter if I tell you what I know or not?
I haven't killed anyone today.
I haven't either. This is a first.
Yeah, I think it is.
Like I'm gonna believe you.
I mean, you could not die and at least have a chance of living if you do help us.
What?
Don't you have family like the rest of these people that we, oh, I don't know, let live? Because they have families?
You see his jaw tighten.
Oh,
Why Why would you protect this difficult situation? We're trying to overthrow this whole system. So you don't have to do things like this.
You could be with your family.
I finally made something of myself. And you would throw that.
By hurting other people, would your family be proud of you? Because I know if I was your daughter, I'd be disgusted.
If they were alive.
Mm-hmm. Wonder why they're dead.
I am sorry to hear that. Were they caught up in this system?
I feel like if they were caught up in the system, he'd be trying to go against the system, though.
Maybe not.
Well, it's just...
Can I roll like a persuasion check to get him to like answer my question?
Your question was...
Did his family die because of this system? Or basically just asking why his family died, or how.
Make a persuasion roll. Yeah.
Oh, yes! Yes, yes, yes! 23.
23? So did you ask him how? You kind of... It was vague.
Well, yeah, it was kind of meant to be vague. Well, I guess, yeah, just how did they die? I'll just bluntly say how.
Sickness. Got hit. Couldn't shake it. Parents and her brother.
I am sorry to hear that.
Don't be. I finally made something of myself. I'm not gonna let you bully me into it. Into giving it up.
I'm afraid your position may no longer be valid.
Says you. When they see that I've actually been loyal, they'll leave me alone.
Yeah, I don't really think that's a thing either, though. Because technically the town's overthrown. There's nothing left. Whether you were loyal or not, they can't prove that. And they're not going to take a chance on it. They don't really seem like second chance fam.
You don't know them?
Neither do you, apparently.
Or do you? Insight check.
Okay, insight check.
Does it know?
I will inside check.
16.
Nah. 15.
15. It's a hard one to read. In this instant, he seems, even though he's in a vulnerable place, even though he knows the circumstances, even though both of your force of presences are having an effect on him, he does manage to steel himself for this particular question. So you're not sure?
Through the link, he definitely knows something.
Probably through the link.
Link?
It's going to be a matter of how to... Wait a second, didn't Terrell say he could maybe concoct something? He can concoct something like a little,
Don't you have a charm person amulet?
Oh my god, I do! Yes, queen.
Thought we could try to get by without using it.
I mean, we could try. Let me see, where is it? It's on the other one. Come hither.
I run out of spells for the day.
Yeah, mine, it's a DC of 13, though.
Wait, I could... Is that spell safety?
Yeah, for my hairpin it is.
Whenever you have a magic item, some of the DCs are based off of that particular magic item, not your own spell BC.
Okay, I was just curious.
It says I have advantage on a 1%. Oh, when I'm a change, I get advantage on 1%.
Well, it's worth a shot.
All right, I will try to use my hairpin to. Wait, what?
Wait, I can bestow curse, and I can give him disadvantage, or, hang on. Let's see.
Oh no.
One ability
yes.
score, disadvantage, ability check, saving throw. I can do it
So
once
it's a wisdom save, right? Isn't that what
Yep.
that person is? I need to write that down in here.
Yes. So I'm gonna do that. Sign of ill omen.
All right.
Give him disadvantage.
And then I will try to charm person with him with my hairpin as it
You
glows.
begin muttering this incantation, Nora, using that invocation. And in that moment, you can almost feel Jasper's presence as he's like, clever. You can almost hear it whisper in your ear. As you finish, you can see that this almost dark blue energy begins swirling in your palm as this mist. And as you finish, you blow, and this slight fog wafts over him. And it seeps in through his nose, in through his pores.
And then I cast charm person.
With a smile and a wink, charm person is cast.
Boom! Booyah! Okay, Nora didn't do that.
15.
At disadvantage?
Because you all are technically adversaries and, like, not in direct combat, but because of this questioning scenario, it's technically at advantage. Then with the disadvantage, it automatically cancels out to one straight roll.
So it didn't work?
It didn't work.
No booyah! Hang on, what's backwards of booyah?
That was so good. That was so good.
Oh.
Yeah, because right now if you guys were relatively neutral, then it would have been then he would have been at disadvantage, but because of this, right now he's considering you all hostile, so any spell that would have taken effect, he would have advantage on.
That's okay. Thanks for trying.
Sorry.
It's not you. It's okay.
We can always try it tomorrow.
Let's try tomorrow.
I'm gonna check his bindings
I was gonna check him for weapons.
and weapons.
All right, roll investigation checks, both of you.
Natural 19 plus investigation.
22.
24. I'm looking for
Ooh. Both of you, after this particular statement, not that you're trying to be rough, not that you're trying to cause any pain, but you want to be thorough, very thorough. And you end up having to redo his binds after the jostling on Warrior kind of loosened a little bit. Plus, it seems like he's been trying to wheedle his way out of it throughout the entirety of this conversation. With no luck, no apparent luck, but he was still trying. You do find that there is a dagger in his left boot.
I will take
But given the way that he's currently bound, there was no way that he could stealthily reach for it. You find that there's a little bit of twine in his side pouch along some coins. You do take off some of the larger pieces of armor that you can remove, and you don't find anything else as his weapon was dropped after being whacked by Warrior.
I'm gonna take the twine, but I'm not gonna take the coin. I'll leave the coin in his pouch.
Okay.
I'll leave it as well.
Yeah, just a handful of this wiry twine.
Because I'm gonna see if it's magical, just in case. You never know.
Technically, I was looking for weapons, so I'm gonna take the dagger.
Okay.
Thanks. Is it
It's a lovely silver dagger. Seems to be made of actual silver, and there is writing on the inside.
Oh, my dear
What?
son, I love you so much. We're so proud of you. You made your
No.
living off the back of others.
It is in Elvish actually, and it says enough talk.
Oh god.
Nora's gonna chuckle whenever she.
Does she show it to me?
Yeah.
Probably.
I'm just gonna laugh.
I feel like not laugh, just kind of like admiring the irony of the situation. Yeah, this is a lovely dagger.
She didn't laugh too hard. Sophia found that pretty funny. Talavin probably still pissed.
Talavin, make a history check.
That's a natural 19. I don't think my history is super... Oh, no, it is super good. 25!
25. This is a familiar saying, a familiar motto. One that you've had a discussion with Malik recently about,
Oh, I did?
if memory serves.
Oh, dear. Wait a second. Isn't that a saying for one of the houses?
It's one of the sayings for one of the family houses, the Fevara family.
Can you spell that?
I'm pretty sure you have it in your...
Yeah, no, somewhere. But I have like 6 pages that recently fell out of my notebook, and I'm trying to rearrange them via in order, so...
That sounds like a you problem.
Look, it's not my fault that America makes these notebooks so easy to just rip shit out. I need some like reinforced pages or something.
There.
Stop. It's fine.
Okay.
Faevara. Fevara.
Okay. Interesting. I know that family.
What family?
It's the Fevara family. Crest, or saying, I guess?
Motto?
Yeah. Does he react to when I say this out loud to Nora?
Oh, you say it out loud.
Yeah.
No,
Oh, he doesn't? Oh, can't you make an insight check?
you can if you want, but he doesn't react visibly. You have to get.
I was hoping, like, as I say it, like, look at him. Like, as I'm saying it to her, like, I'm pointing it out to her, I'm, like, watching him.
Okay.
22.
Go ahead and roll then. 22. There is there's a slight brow furrow, but it goes back to neutrality.
Where in proximity to us in the room, if I'm, like, starting to walk out of the room, is, like, Jacob, Wyatt, and Zoom.
Wyatt was poking around the room a little bit more. Jacob is in the hallway keeping eyes on Wyatt and Zoom went back to the front door to get a better view of what's going on outside. Jen and Tellel are searching the upstairs for anything else weird.
I'm gonna walk over to Jacob and be like, it doesn't look super good. To lay down for a little bit before he falls over.
Would you believe me if I said he's looked worse? He's not gonna lay down until he pokes around to his satisfaction. After that, I might be able to convince him, but he's more stubborn than me. He's gonna finish whatever it is that he's going to do. There's no convincing him otherwise.
I'll help him poke I'll help him poke around things and maybe speed up the process.
I wouldn't advise that. Just
Oh no, don't.
yeah. This is something that he does. It helps him. Just leave him be.
Well, I'm gonna go search the upstairs then.
Yeah, the thought is nice, and I'll be sure to let him know that you offered to help. But this is something that he likes doing on his own.
Well, just let me know if you need anything, and then I'll go upstairs. Because I know there's our room upstairs, and then there's got to be other rooms, right?
The main bedchamber of the mayor. Yeah.
I'm gonna search it.
As you go up, you hear 2 pairs of
My 2 favorites.
on the inside as you open the door, which was already open, just a crack. You go in, and this is a lovely, lavish bedroom. 4-poster bed, many comforters adorning it, bright, rich colors, which in comparison to the rest of the town, which is almost a neutral tone versus bright tone, very different. There's a nice big window out in the front. There's another writing desk, which is, as soon as you enter, it's on the right-hand side, kind of in the corner. You see that there are a couple of lamps on either side of the bed. There is a small fireplace, a much larger water closet, which actually does have a bathtub.
Yeah, even Talvin's not gonna use that.
It's nice and big. And there's also what looks like a dresser of sorts, which folds out and has an element that actually folds out, kind of like a room divider for changing.
I'm gonna. Well, the writing desk. Are there any drawers? Is there anything on the desk?
There are some things at the desk. One of them looks like some kind of writing that's been being done. There are some books over in the corner of the desk. Papers are shoved in them,
What are the
kind of haphazard, and there are a couple of candles up on top.
What are the books if I go to look through them?
You go to look at the books. They have smudged titles, but one of them happens to be about leadership. Is one of the words that you make out. And you open it, and you can see that there are like grease like smudge marks in the corners. Probably were like flipping through what to say. It's basically a motivational leadership book for dummies. And you look at the book underneath, and it just seems to be just like a fun little novel.
Oh, like a fun book.
Yeah, like a fun book.
I'll take that one.
Okay.
And then the papers. What was he writing?
The papers that were on the desk, it looks to be like some kind of journal entry of sorts. The handwriting is a little bit not great, but you do manage to read through it. Overall, it talks about there are talks of rebellion. It seems like these newcomers actually aren't here to help. I thought that maybe they could be dissuaded with gold, but I'm going to have to bring this up to them. Hopefully, they have some kind of better guidance on how to deal with them. Worst case scenario, we make them leave, and hopefully they don't come back. Can't afford for them to do so, or can't afford to not do that.
Okay, so then so this is just like a single piece of paper that he was writing on.
It's nice, big, thick lettering, so it's on multiple pages, but that's pretty much all of it.
I'm gonna keep that. Do I see other drawers?
There are no other drawers on this.
So no, okay. So there's no more paper, any like other journal entry type things.
Doesn't seem to be. Not here.
And you said Jen and Talil are in here?
Yeah, they're flying around, just poking around, seeing what they can see.
I'm going to investigate the rest of the room, see what I can search up.
All right, you can go to the closet, you can go to the bathroom, but where do you go?
Let's go to the closet first.
Okay, you go to the closet, roll an investigation check. Tainted 20.
I hate
You go
14s because like they're so high, but the 20's right there. So it's like
it's a tease. It's such a tease.
I'm like, you are
You
a stink.
find a couple of boxes of cufflinks of various what look like some kind of ceremonial medals. They're cheaply made. You know what was presented to finer knights and warriors of your home. This is the cheap stuff. Almost like a participation kind of ribbon, but it looks nice and fancy. If you had to conceptualize it in modern day, there are some vests on the inside. There are some coats, shirts, all different sizes, and with, you said, unnatural 20?
Tainted 20.
Tainted 20? Yeah, you said tainted 20. You do see that there is a box down in the bottom.
Yeah.
And you pull out the box.
Traps.
Check it for traps. You open it and
15.
15. This box does not appear to be trapped.
I open it.
And gonna need you to. No, I'm just kidding. You open it up and you see that there are a couple of portraits on the inside. Little hand, only about the size of your palm or so. It's a slightly larger shoebox sized chest. This wooden chest. But whenever you open it up, you see that there are a couple of what look like portraits. One of them, you look and it almost looks to be a female version of the mayor. And there's you wonder like what the relation could be. There's this secret part of you that hopes that it's not the wife, because they look very, very similar. There's also a couple of pictures of what look like a young boy and a young girl. Sketched in there, drawn. You see that there are a couple of bags of coins tucked into the side. You see that there is an amulet or some kind of brooch that is attached to this string. It looks to be made of some kind of dark sapphire lined in gold. Very elegant. And you see a couple of other odd knickknacks on the inside.
So it had knickknacks, portrait, gold, and an amulet.
Mm-hmm.
Coins and an amulet, since I haven't opened it.
Yeah, coins. And you peer inside the bag and kind of chink, 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 chink. You see about 50 platinum in one of the bags. And then you close it and you look into the next one, you chink, 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 and there seems to be about 200 or so gold inside of this one. They're very shiny coins.
I will put the portraits back and the knickknacks, but I will keep the amulet and the gold.
Just the gold?
Well, both, and the platinum. I'm gonna take it all, just not the sentimental looking things. And I'm gonna put the amulet in a side pouch, not my bag of holding, because I'm gonna detect magic on that here in a minute, probably.
Okay.
I'm gonna go to... Is there, like, nightstands?
There are no nightstands in this particular place. It seems like this wardrobe functions as the nightstand where you put everything away. There's like that shelf with all of the cufflinks. So you put everything in there and then turn into bed.
Okay. I will check the bed. Is there anything underneath, under the pillows? Being careful in case there's like weird shit going on.
There's a handkerchief under the pillow.
Is that it? Nothing under the bed, nothing between the boards?
It doesn't seem to be nothing under the bed. You can roll investigation check and try and crawl under, see if there's anything else.
There's a handkerchief under the floor. You guys are so to sleep every night.
That's a natural 18.
Natural 18. You take that little bit and you kind of half shimmy underneath, and your hand traces over some of the pieces of wood that align and construct the actual floor, this wooden floor. And your hand finds this knot, but as your hand grazes over the knot, get curious. You press into it, and part of it bends up.
Traps. Is it trapped?
Your hand reaches over and pulls up one of the floorboards, folds it over, and you look in and you can see that there are actually two more chests. One of them is a little bit smaller, and then one of them is slightly smaller than the shoebox, the large shoebox size one, but it's about, less than a foot, maybe 8 or 9 inches by 4 or 5 inches, by another 6 inches deep.
I will move them out from under the bed. Anything else in that little hidey hole?
No, your hand traces around on the inside. There's nothing else.
Get myself back out from under the bed.
At which point, Talal's, "Are you all right, Talavin?"
Yes! No, I found two more little... I found a hidey hole down there.
Oh. Very good. We haven't necessarily been too close to the floor. As he lands on the bed, trying to figure out if there's anything up high that we need to be concerned about, but it figures that such a interesting individual would not place something so high.
Well, hey, people go either way sometimes. But I am gonna check these two chests for traps real quick like.
Alright.
Oh no. That's a 2, so 8.
You shake the box with the trapped.
First one. Since no traps.
Is it locked?
Well, which one did you pick up first? The smaller one or the medium?
The bigger one. The bigger one.
The bigger one? Doesn't seem to be locked. You can...
No! Talavin looks at her hands. I'm gonna learn from my mistakes.
Learn from my mistakes.
I'll try to be safe, okay? Because I don't know what if something super dope is in here. And then it, like, burns up.
Because it was already hidden.
Well, but, hey, looks, people make extra precautions sometimes if they're not dumb.
Okay.
I mean, he's not super smart, but I don't know. I'm gonna just, put them on the bed for now, and I'm gonna go check the loo for anything.
Nope. And you're pretty sure you don't want to investigate any further, so you spin back around and leave.
I will take my 2... Are there any other rooms upstairs? Besides the mayor's room and our room?
Yeah.
I want to go into the other room. I take my 2 chests.
You go into the room that you have been staying in, and just start poking around. Make another investigation check.
Natural 18. 24.
24. Looking around this particular room, you've been here for several days, so upon inspection, it does not seem currently that there's anything else in this room.
And those are the only 2 rooms upstairs, you said? Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Then I will go downstairs and find Wyatt.
Nora, what have you been doing in the meantime?
I was watching the 2 dudes, the mayor and Frederick, and just in the meantime, I was trying to finish up because I should be almost done with the ritual. I was trying to do, what was it? Detect magic. Yeah, like writing the ritual down in my book of ancient secrets. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So like watching and like doing that, and then every once in a while like flicking up and like.
Okay. You probably couldn't be finished. This is something that would require more concentration, but you do get a little bit more completed.
Because I've been working on it for a while, so I should be kind of close. That's okay.
I'd say if you you could probably finish it up in an hour or so tonight.
Okay. That works. But yeah, I'm still watching them. Being hyper aware, but also like needing to do something.
Mm-hmm. Because you can finish it now if you don't watch them.
No, I'm gonna watch them.
Okay.
I'll go down the stairs and... Is Wyatt still in the one room?
He is. He's still poking around.
I'm gonna knock on the door. Hey, you busy?
Just looking.
Will you look at these for me? Because the last time I opened something, I fucked my hands up. Do you mind?
I'm not sure I can do any better.
Well,
Sure, come on.
I'll give him the... I don't even know if they're locked, to be completely honest. I only shook one of them, and I just kind of decided against it.
He looks and he's like, doesn't seem to be, but or at least
I'll turn it.
you open the bigger one.
Yeah, my way.
I know what it is.
It's gonna be something really gross. No.
You open it up and there are more books, more papers. And as you look, all of these loose leaf papers seem to be of the same kind of construction as the one that you saw on the desk.
It's his journal. I really don't know if I can read through these.
Close it. Not trapped. You're fine. You go to the next one, or at least Wyatt goes to the next one. It's like it's locked. It's not trapped, at least.
I don't have a key. You want to try, or I can. I'm just not very good at it.
Leans down. Pulls out his tools and fishes them back. Opens it up. What you see on the inside is this ashy powder.
Ashy powder. Could be something super dope.
It's probably
Somebody's body.
oh. Why do you make NPCs people?
This is terrible.
Did you make them just bad for once?
Did you just make bad people? Like, come on, Madison.
They all have to have families and backstories.
I hate backstories.
Sorry.
You're the one who said he's go poking around in his room. What's this to do?
Do I have all the journals that were... I know I have all the fire papers that I got out of the one drawer. But the other drawer, do I have the binders that were in... You said they were leather bound?
Yeah, nice big thick tomes.
How many were there?
Just 2.
And do I have both of them, or did he have one?
He helped you pull them out and smack out the fires before it consumed the entire book.
Okay.
But you do have both of them. He didn't keep them with him.
Okay.
For Wyatt.
Thanks. I'll go back over there. If you need anything, let me know.
Yeah.
And so we're in the dining room with the 2 dudes, and then he's in that silver bowl with the scrying for the seeing, talking thing. Is it like water in this bowl?
Did you investigate it?
No, not yet.
You touch it? You get close to it?
Fire by the bowl.
Are there any other rooms downstairs? No. There's just the 2.
Well, it's the one room, the dining council area. There's the office, and then there's the waiting room.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'll go back and join Nora.
At this point, because before Nora was like talking to people, she looks down and sees that your hands are bandaged. She just noticed it in passing before, and now it's like, what did you actually do?
I mean, the fucking
Takes
door.
the hand,
It blew up, bro.
unwraps it, like, Talavin.
You see blisters on blisters. Her fingers are having a hard time bending because of the damage they've taken.
Do healing hands on her hands.
Immediately, it starts to crust over, and the swelling does go down, but you've got that weird, that extra skin layer on your hand. I know she is.
I'll give her my remaining 5 points of healing hands. Yeah. So I have no points left.
I'm almost at full health. Almost.
Yes. At least your fingers can burn now. Or bend now. So
Yeah.
if you wanted to stay here and make sure you don't go anywhere for a while, I was going to go around the town. Just to make sure things
At
are...
least take Zoom with you by yourself. Don't take Wyatt. I say through the link. I link with her, and I'm like, don't take Wyatt. He looks like he's gonna fall over.
Okay. No promises.
You're gonna get him.
Wyatt at which point does stumble in, and he doesn't say anything. He just sits on the desk, leans over to one side, and just curls up there on top of that big table. His back to you guys.
He just straight up fell asleep.
I mean, he might not be asleep yet, but he's about to be.
He's laying down there, head Just...
Wyatt?
I say through the link, just go mom him. Go put a blanket on him.
Through the link, like, I can't just put a blanket on it. Like, we're in the room with a bunch of people who... I'm gonna take him upstairs.
Yeah, you... Oh. Like upstairs. I'm kidding.
You have any idea what he's been through?
I'm kidding. I know I'm kidding. That's why I just said it through the link.
That was through the link.
That was all through the link.
I was going to stand up and like walk around the table and kind of like get at his eye level. Be like, do you want to go upstairs? You won't have to lay on the table up there in the room full of enemies.
He just shrugs.
I'll help you if you want.
Talavin's like behind his back, just like... As she's slowly pulling out her journals, like that she's about to witness reading, and but she's side-eyeing them like...
Just shakes his head again.
Okay. We're just gonna leave him alone. Just let him sleep alone.
Yeah.
Talal and Jin at this point do flutter back down the stairs and like, we didn't necessarily see anything. What exactly is our plan now? Do we need to rally anyone else in the village? A town here?
I was about to go run around and see what it is that everyone's doing. I don't know.
All right.
We don't know if there's people coming as backup, so we should probably put out a watch of some kind and kind of sift through who's resisting, who's going to comply.
All right. Would you like either of us to accompany you? Both of you? Any of you?
I think I'm gonna stay here on guard duty and read through some of this stuff.
All right.
I'm going to ride around on Susana and see, and I'd appreciate it if you could come as well.
Very well. Jin? So like, I'm up for an adventure. Well, we'll be right beside you.
Alright. Talavin, let me know what happens in the journals.
What do I...
By the time you actually had grabbed the blanket, you mean to say, by the time you actually grabbed the blanket and began putting it on Jacob, he was already asleep.
Or on Wyatt.
On Wyatt.
Yeah. Oh.
Or on Wyatt, yeah. Sorry, on Wyatt.
That's okay.
He was already asleep, his hair just tossed off to the side.
Okay, good. That's good. He deserves it. Alright. Yes, I'm going to go outside. Or should I help? No, because... Sorry, I'm like trying to regroup because game time, it hasn't even been an hour since we saved Blake from being cut in half.
Yeah, but it's been like a week.
Yeah, it's been a week our time, so things are still pretty up there. We probably should have waited for the thing. Anyway, yeah, it's fine. I'm gonna go ride around.
All right.
I say through the lane.
I'm taking. Take who?
You cannot just take.
I'm taking the sprites.
Take more people. There's a bunch of cards out there.
Okay, fine. I'll ask him. All right. Fine. Gosh, Calvin.
Gosh, Nora. Gosh, bro.
All right, I'm gonna go find Jacob and.
Remember the last time you were by yourself? You started a whole rebellion. Remember the last time you were with just the sprites? You started a whole rebellion. Take somebody else with you.
When was I alone with the sprites? As she's like leaving or like bantering.
Just like literally an hour ago.
I was having one time, okay?
Yeah, and you started a rebellion. Take somebody else with you.
Alright, fine. I'm just gonna go find
We're bantering through our link, not out loud. We're not trying to wake anybody up.
Yeah.
We're bantering through our link.
Yeah.
Until she, like, gets out of view and it breaks off. Mid-banter.
Nora would never act like that in front of anyone.
Jacob is in the hallway and Zoom is right by the door. As the sprites fly by you.
I'm gonna go right around to see what everyone is doing and if things have settled or if they're still chaotic. Sound like fun? You wanna come?
Jacob looks around, where's Wyatt?
He's asleep in there.
Good. Good.
I asked if you wanted to go upstairs to a place that's open.
No. Where he sets his mind to, that's where he's going to be.
Okay. That makes sense.
I don't want you to be out there, kind of on your own. Not that you can't be, but just in case for him.
Nora gives him like an understanding look and is like, Zoom, do you want to come?
Zoom looks back into the council room where he sees Talavin. And there's a part of you that knows that he wants to look at Jacob but doesn't want to make it obvious, and he...
You'll stay? Okay. Nora's gonna go out.
What the fuck is wrong with these people?
She's gonna go find Susana. I imagine Susana's still like breathing blood, like whoa.
God.
She's actually running in circles. She's cantering in circles.
Susana, you ready to go? Can Nora like try to meet, like jump on her as she's still moving? That would be kind of cool, right?
Oh, dude.
The moment you say her name, she stops. And her head whips around where you are.
Ready to go
Like
explore a
a
little
fire-breathing dragon.
Gonna and like get on her and then ride around. Just like
All right.
swooping. A big swoop.
Nice big swoop. Okay. Go ahead and make some perception checks.
Okay.
Just roll 3 for funsies.
Oh man, that was almost good. It was almost good. Okay,
It was
so
a
that's
teeter-totter.
11, 18, 19. Okay, she gets more observant.
Initially, whenever you're cantering through Susana's finding her pace, finding her stride, there are moments where she wants to keep sprinting, and you have to ease her back. It seems that she's doing better listening to you. As you run past some of the streets, you do see that things are beginning to calm down, that some of the guards are indeed being subdued. Some of them are complying and actually helping out the people. The ones that didn't seem to be as harsh. You notice one of the girls, the same female guard who you all have kind of been keeping tabs on this whole time, is actually helping some of the villagers go through and just she's given them part of her armor. She's also surrendered her weapon, but she's currently has some rope that she's using to help tie up some people. For the most part, things seem to be simmering down, and a large mass seem to be heading to the main building, that center town hall area. Among them, who canter past, is Blake.
Okay, because Blake seems to be like a
Blake and Cooper and a bunch of other familiar faces.
Yay! Alright, Nora's to talk to them. She'll probably get off Susana once she sees them. Like, gets down. Like, glad to see you all are doing better.
You can see he has a couple of additional scratches on his cheek and like right above his eye. But he's like, yeah, definitely glad of that.
Mm-hmm.
How goes things? Is there anything else that we need to be doing?
Well, at the moment we've apprehended the mayor and what I assume is the head guard, Frederick.
Yeah.
I know you
Certainly got the right one.
familiar with him. Sorry about that.
No, they'd be thanking you, and immediately you start hearing other voices saying, "Thank you, no, like, you've got the building, you've got the town hall, city is ours!" You hear some of the people already cheering, and the word is already being passed around. Blake, with a hand, seems to partially subdue them. He says, "Great, that's wonderful news."
I'm afraid that the victory may be not quite won yet, because before we apprehended the mayor, he was contacting his higher ups. I was able to pull him away from the situation, but they very well could be sending reinforcements right now.
That only makes sense. What do you propose we do?
I think we should watch the entrances and exits and post some kind of, perhaps unofficial guard duty, or watch duty, in case. I don't know which direction they're more likely to come from, but we need to stay vigilant. Haven't won yet. This is just a battle in the war.
Well, this is one battle that I think we certainly have won, even if we have the war to continue. Come along. And he begins pointing at a couple of people, begins delegating tasks, and he's like, you watch the east, you begin watching the west, make sure that, you go and check and make sure that everyone's families are okay. He just begins already delegating the different tasks. And people already are starting to disperse.
Okay, that's good. And Cooper's there? Cute Cooper.
Cooper is also there as he, as Blake actually looks at him and he gives him this partial knowing look, and he's like, "I trust that you will help guard the city." Yeah, of course. Thank you, Blake. And heads off.
Okay, sorry. Alright. I don't have any more healing ability. Do you have an infirmary where I could potentially help?
I'd say the grounds is as good of a place as any. I doubt that little area, that small shack that you were working on before, would accommodate for some of our other individuals. We have some who are relatively familiar with, at the very least, staunching wounds. We'll focus on that primarily for now.
All right.
I'll see what I can do. I trust that we can come back to Town Hall in a few hours and discuss going forward.
Yes. That's good. Maybe not everyone at one time. As that would be allowed.
I'll go get some of the others. Some people aren't acclimated to politics and organization. I'll see what I can do.
All right. Feel free to stop by. Let us know if you need anything. I'm going to continue around.
They've given us more than what we could have ever hoped for.
Nora just smiles, not like a hey, like a got you.
Like a beam smile.
A beam. Like a beam. That's what it is. Not
My face beams.
beams at him. And they're just gonna ride around.
Already, just like within an hour or so of you riding around, you already see that people are forming up. These different areas are spreading the word and saying that there could be more battles to come.
Okay. After a while, she'll return to town hall, unless people like need her to do something or just gather information. That's all.
Jen, at this point, actually comes over. She's like, actually, I don't know if this is a good or a bad idea. I know we're not supposed to be separating because that is a strength in numbers, but I would very much like to begin the process of helping the land here, if that's all right.
I had the same thought earlier, actually.
I happen to have in my relative arsenal something that might prove useful. If I get started now, it should be finished by the end of the evening. Eventually, you make it back.
I'm just reading
Neato.
the mayor's journal.
You're reading the mayor's journal?
Like, I don't want
Alright.
to. I'm gonna look through. No, I'm gonna take notes on the other books.
He's a lover, not a fighter.
I'll take notes on the other books. I don't want to read them. I don't want to read it. I don't want to.
Which one?
Is there one that's like completely filled and one maybe that's not? Maybe the one that looks older than the other?
I'd say the leather-bound journals look older and seem to have the most information, but nothing is completely filled. No.
I'll read the open ones first and try to start.
The majority of the open ones are correspondence between him and the leader of Arkala, Barbara Pedden, and the leader of Violand, which is Delamuc Berdier. Many of them seem to be about estimated times of arrival for shipments, supplies, what they can anticipate on receiving, and what they should anticipate in the future. Most of it is written in common. There are a couple of deep speech words written in there, which essentially are it seems to be like some kind of formal greeting or salutation and some kind of farewell at the starting it and ending it.
I make note of that.
Okay. For the most part, some of the other letters are actually addressed to Frederick, which are what others are doing to help subdue and work out potential issues with problem makers and troublesome individuals.
The handwriting for the ones assigned to Frederick, do they look like the letters written from the leader of Violin, or do they look different?
Make an investigation check.
17 plus 20.
17 plus 23.
No, 17 plus 6 is
Just say the final number. Just say the final number. The 23, no, it appears that the handwriting is different in many occasions. There are some times that the handwriting does seem to be similar, the way that the letters are swooped or the way that things are worded seem to indicate that the leaders have been in contact with Frederick, but primarily it seems that somebody else has been in correspondence with Frederick.